Just making sure that my cell phone is off. Good morning, Mr. Chaskalson. Good
morning, Chair.
Good morning, Mr. Ngwato. Your microphone, please.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair.
Please pull one of them closer to you, whichever. Yeah, thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Sergeant Nkosi.
Good morning, Chair.
Yes.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Perhaps I should start because I don't think the presence of Sergeant Nkosi has been publicized. If it has been, that's not to my knowledge. So perhaps there's a need to explain that publicly. Well, on the 13th of March 2026, I made an order that recalled the order in terms of which Sergeant Nkosi has been testifying remotely and off camera. Reasons were to be given at a later stage, and these are the reasons. On 13 March 2026, I made an order directing that Sergeant Fanny Ezekiel Nkosi, who until at some point between my order of 30 January 2026 and 13 March 2026 was identified as WitnessF, should appear physically in open session when his testimony resumes before the Commission today, that is Monday, 16 March 2026. The order of 13 March 2026, which was not accompanied by reasons, varies the order I made on 30 January 2026 and repeated on 3 February 2026, in which I ordered that the testimony of Sergeant Nkosi be presented without mention of his name and publication of his image. On 3 and 4 February 2026, Sergeant Nkosi gave evidence on the Microsoft Teams platform from an undisclosed remote location, with the evidence leaders and commissioners present at the Commission's hearing venue. His evidence could not be finalized on those dates. This resulted in a postponement to 16 and 17 March 2026. Below are brief reasons for the order of 13 March 2026. On 26 February 2026, Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, Lieutenant General Sibaya, testified before the Commission. At the commencement of his testimony, he sought a ruling that the Commission's evidence leaders should not examine him on issues relating to his relationship with Sergeant Nkosi until the latter had concluded his evidence. I refused to make that ruling, as at the time the Commission's term had not been extended and was to end on 17 March 2026, and I held the view that if General Sibaya's testimony regarding his relationship with Sergeant Nkosi was deferred to a later date, there was a real risk that the Commission's term would end before General Sibaya had testified on what I believed to be a crucial part of his evidence. Previously, General Kumalo's testimony revealed that Sergeant Nkosi fetched a paper bag from the home of Mr. Katiso Molefe, one of the accused in the murder of Mr. Armand Swart. During that testimony, a video clip depicting this event was played, showing both Mr. Molefe and Sergeant Nkosi. Sergeant Nkosi was identified by name. The effect of that was that the public was put in the position of being able to connect the sergeant's name and his face as depicted in the video clip. Crucially, the video clip was played during a public hearing which was live streamed. When Mr. Ngwato, Sergeant Nkosi's attorney, subsequently made submissions in a postponement application, he inadvertently alluded to this video clip and mentioned that it depicted Sergeant Nkosi carrying a bag. In his submissions on that occasion, the evidence leader who was to lead Sergeant Nkosi also inadvertently mentioned the sergeant's name in so many words. If truth be told, the proverbial cat was out of the bag. That notwithstanding, Sergeant Nkosi was still allowed to testify off camera and from a remote location. General Sibaya's witness statement was replete with mention of Sergeant Nkosi's name, and Sergeant Nkosi was central to the events in respect of which General Sibaya was called upon to testify, including the meeting held at General Sibaya's office between him and Mr. Vusi Ket Matlala during or about February 2024, and a party held at General Sibaya's house at which Mr. Matlala was present on 14 September 2024. This led to numerous references to WitnessF in General Sibaya's testimony. In one of those references, the general accidentally mentioned Sergeant Nkosi's name. At that point, I took the view that it had plainly become farcical to continue with the facade of hiding Sergeant Nkosi's name. Thus, I directed that Sergeant Nkosi's name should henceforth be mentioned without qualification. What remained of the order of 30 January 2026 was the question whether Sergeant Nkosi should continue to give his evidence from a remote location. On 26 February 2026, the Commission notified Sergeant Nkosi's legal representatives that I intended to recall the order of 30 January 2026 and to issue a new order that Sergeant Nkosi attend physically at the venue of the Commission hearings and testify in open session. Sergeant Nkosi was invited to make representations showing cause why the order of 30 January 2026 should not be recalled and replaced as stated. On 3 March 2026, Sergeant Nkosi delivered an affidavit to the Commission. In the affidavit, he set out reasons why his evidence should continue to be heard in camera. I have considered Sergeant Nkosi's witness statement filed at the Commission dated 16 December 2024, as well as the transcript of his evidence given on 3 and 4 February 2026. The witness statement is only 4 pages long. In his witness statement, Sergeant Nkosi deals with his relationship with Mr. Jotham Sibi, Mr. Matlala, Mr. Katiso Mulife, General Sibaya, and General Shibiri. He does not implicate any of them or any other persons in criminal activity or wrongdoing, which falls within the Commission's terms of reference. In his testimony, he did not incriminate or implicate any person, and there is no suggestion that he intends to do so in his further evidence. The fear expressed by Sergeant Nkosi, which was meant to justify testifying remotely and off camera and without mention of his name, was that if this were not allowed, he could easily be identified by spotters who would then relay his whereabouts to persons that might want to harm him. Based on what I have said above, Sergeant Nkosi's name and physical identity are now out in the public domain. Having heard his name, any would-be spotters need only look for the video clip that was played during General Khumalo's testimony. That will give them the sergeant's physical features. Continuing with having Sergeant Nkosi testifying remotely and off camera is no longer justified by the facts before the Commission. In the affidavit dated 3 March 2026, filed to show cause why the order of 30 January 2026 should not be recalled, Sergeant Nkosi states, open quote, "It is quite presumptuous to suggest that I have not implicated anyone yet, as I may implicate more people as the testimony progresses," close quote. He goes on to claim that since he last appeared before the Commission, his safety risk has increased tremendously after he allegedly received calls or texts from, open quote, the African National Congress, Parliament, Portfolio Committee, ANC Soshanguve branch, close quote. He also mentions a few high-ranking members of the ANC, an unnamed girlfriend of one of these members, an unnamed member of parliament, and unnamed friends of some of these persons. Supporters and loyalists of two of the high-ranking members of the ANC. He says these persons have contacted him to discourage him from testifying further. Sergeant Nkosi does not take the Commission into his confidence as to what he could possibly say about these people and why they would not want him to testify further. I have taken the conscious decision not to mention the names of these people because mentioning them without any substance having been given on what Sergeant Nkosi says about them, that will serve no purpose other than being sensationalist. Sergeant Nkosi also claims that as a result of his past relationship with the late Mr. Jotham Msibi, whom he claims had a fair share of enemies, he met a lot of senior government officials, politicians, and parliamentarians who visited Mr. Msibi and who had a close relationship with him. Sergeant Nkosi does not say that any of these relationships with politicians are relevant to the Commission's or terms of reference. His witness statement does not implicate any of these politicians in any wrongdoing, and he does not allege that he intends to implicate these persons when his evidence resumes. Accordingly, it is not apparent on what basis any of the grounds on which Sergeant Nkosi relies are relevant to the question whether he should continue giving evidence remotely and off camera. Importantly, he does not state how, if at all, attendance at the Commission's venue poses a risk to his safety. This must be viewed in the light of the fact that he states nothing in his affidavit, witness statement, and oral testimony so far that implicates any person in conduct which falls within the Commission's terms of reference. The order of 30 January 2025 only serves to shield Sergeant Nkosi from the discomfort of testifying in public. This is not the purpose of full or partial in-camera hearings. The sergeant will be questioned about his visit to Mr. Katiso Mulife's house, during which he was seen leaving with a paper bag, evidence already presented by an earlier witness, which showed his face and identified him by name. His image and name are therefore known to the public. While the Commission takes the safety of its witnesses seriously and will take all reasonable measures to ensure that its witnesses are not put at risk, it is clear to me that Sergeant Nkosi is no longer justified to testify, or rather, the order that he continue testifying remotely is no longer justified. There is no cogent basis for believing that any of the evidence he intends to present will place his life in danger. It was for these reasons that I made the order of 13 March 2026. Thank you. Mr. Shazarsen?
Thank you, Chair. I'm not sure if Sergeant Nkosi has been sworn in.
I do not think I should swear him in again. Sergeant Nkosi, you remember that you are still under oath.
I confirm, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Good morning, Sergeant.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Sergeant, when we left on the 4th of February, there were 6 topics that you undertook to consider, look at your records, and get back to us on. The first of those topics was 5 topics, was why you sent Mr. Matlala the warrant of arrest for Mr. Kawula on 21 October 2024, and in particular whether it was to ask his assistance in the arrest of Mr. Kawula because you were on your way to arrest Mr. Kawula on a Saturday and there was a shortage of SAPS officers. Would you like me to run through them all, or do you want to take them one by one?
I think I'll take them one by one.
Okay,
Before you do so, Mr. Shaskalson, can you please advise us which files, because there are 10 files, can you please advise us which ones we should have in front of us right away, please?
Commissioner.
Thanks.
Yes, Mr. Ngwado.
Thank you, Commissioner. Before we started, I spoke to Mr. Chakalson in terms of which method he intends to start with, so that I can allocate the files to the witness. The witness has not been allocated files as yet, as we do not know which file he's going to start with. I thought he was going to start with that aspect because as we're still busy with it, that's when the commission started. Can I therefore be given an opportunity to provide the witness with the files that he might be referred to? Otherwise, where he's seated, he doesn't have any file.
Yeah. May we perhaps just adjourn very briefly then and be advised when to come back?
If I count them, 8 files. I can eliminate 2 for now. The 2 that I won't refer to, certainly not this morning and probably not today, are files 1 and 2 of 3 of the additional exhibits. But unfortunately, I have to move between the other 6 files on and off today.
No, that's fine, Mr. Shaskalson.
Good morning again, Sergeant.
Good morning.
And as I was saying, there are 5 issues, not 6, that you undertook to get back to us. And the first one was why you sent Mr. Matlala the warrant for the arrest of Mr. Kawula on 21 October 2024, and in particular, was it to ask his assistance in the arrest of Mr. Kawula because you were on your way to arrest Mr. Kawula on a Saturday when there was a shortage of police officials available? So if you can answer that question first, then we'll get to the others.
Can you repeat that question, Commissioner?
Which is why you sent Mr. Matlala the warrant for the arrest of Mr. Kawula on 21 October 2014. So that's the basic question. There's a sort of sub-question, which is the chair had engaged you over the issue of whether it was, as you had earlier indicated, because you had been suddenly called to arrest Mr. Kawula on a Saturday and there weren't SAPS officers available for the arrest, and it was to secure the assistance of Mr. Matlala if you needed it, through his private security firm.
I did not say there weren't enough police officials to arrest Mr. Kawula. I said I sent the warrant to Mr. Matlala because whenever he goes to the pubs or places to have fun, he sees or he might see Mr. Kaula, and then he will effect the arrest or call the cops and show them the warrant so that they must arrest Mr. Kaula.
Sorry, I just want to get your explanations now. I'm not going to interrogate them, but I just want to find out what they are. So, is your explanation that you sent the warrant to Mr. Madlanga because he was someone who frequented similar places or similar pubs to those that Mr. Kaula was known to frequent, and you were hoping that he might spot Mr. Kaula at one of the places where he was attending, and then that he could come back to you and the arrest of Mr. Kaula could be effected?
That's true.
Sorry, that's correct.
That's correct.
Then the second question that you said you would come back to is whether you had received any further payments from Mr. Madlanga beyond the 20,000 that Mr. Madlanga paid you, 20,000 rands, on 27 October 2023, the 5,000 rands that he paid you on 23 May 2024, and various amounts drawn in cash on Mr. Madlanga's card for repairs to his boat and the jet ski of Mr. Msibi that he was using. Did you receive any other payments from Mr. Madlanga beyond those payments?
Not that I remember.
Not that you remember?
Yes.
The third issue that you were going to come back on was the location of Mr. Madlanga's Limpopo farm.
That's correct.
Do you have the location of Mr. Madlanga's farm?
That's correct. It's in one of the files. I'll check it now. But I've got it's in not exactly in Limpopo, but before Limpopo is Mokopane.
So it's in the Mokopane district?
That's correct.
And you have an exact location?
That's correct.
And how can we get that? I mean, can your attorney make that available to us at tea time?
Definitely.
Thank you. The next issue that you were going to get back to us on was when you brought Mr. Msibi's jet ski back from Mr. Madlanga's farm to Mr. Msibi's farm.
Yes, it was around September, but I'm not quite sure. But I'll just confirm now with the attorney.
When you say you're not quite sure and you need to confer with your attorney, are you capable of finding an exact date in the record somewhere, or why would you need to speak to your attorney?
I'm not capable of finding exact date, but the month I can try, yes.
But your estimate is September 2024?
That's correct.
And the last issue was the exact date that Mr. Madlanga came to visit General Sibaya at SAP's head office when you took him upstairs to see General Sibaya in his office.
Can I repeat that question?
The date of what you said was the first meeting between Mr. Madlanga and General Sibaya when Mr. Madlanga came to visit General Sibaya at SAP's head office, and he met you downstairs and you took him upstairs to General Sibiya's office.
Yeah.
What that date?
Okay. I think that was around August, September.
2024.
That's correct.
And you're saying that that was to the best of your knowledge, the first time that Mr. Madlanga had met General Sibaya?
That's correct.
Let me then start with that last date, because your earlier testimony was that it was much earlier in 2024. I don't have my exact note here, but I seem to remember January or February 2024 was what you were saying. Let me get the exact date and come back and answer, but it was certainly well before September 2024. How did you establish that it was in September 2024?
Okay. As you recall, when I testified, I said it was around 2023 or 2024 earlier, but when Commissioner Khumalo reminded me that the project was granted in around June, if I'm not mistaken, then I went back and recalled that it must have been around September, because of that was when Mr. Madlanga had issues with his payments.
So your memory, you've determined that date inferentially with reference to the contract that Mr. Madlanga had with SAPS, not by any other means. So you've used the fact that his contract was only awarded in the middle of 2024 to estimate that this meeting must have taken place in September because it was about problems with the contract.
That's correct.
You don't have any other means of specifying the date for this meeting?
No, I don't have.
But you are clear in your mind that that was the first meeting?
According to my knowledge, it was the first meeting in my presence.
And was that meeting before or after General Sibaya's Thanksgiving, what you described as a Thanksgiving celebration, what General Sibaya described as a celebration for his son?
I think it was before.
Because we have a date for the Thanksgiving meeting. That date, if you bear with me for a minute,
14 September.
14 September 2024. So how much before 14 September 2024 would your first meeting with, would Mr. Madlanga's first meeting with General Sibaya have been?
I would say the Thanksgiving came after the meeting, because of that is when I started to communicate more often with Mr. Madlanga after their first meeting that I was aware about.
But how often, how much before that meeting at SAP's headquarters how much before the Thanksgiving meeting would the meeting at SAP's headquarters have been?
I can't be exact.
Is it plausible that that meeting could have happened in September, and already on the 14th of September, General Sibaya was inviting Mr. Madlanga to a Thanksgiving celebration at his home?
There are possibilities that the meeting occurred before the month of September or in September, but I can confirm that the Thanksgiving came after the meeting.
And we know also that as early as March 2024, you were making arrangements for Impalas to be delivered at General Sibiya's home by Mr. Madlanga. Are you saying that the Impala exchanges on the 21st of March 2024 were 6 months before Mr. Madlanga had met Mr. Sibaya, General Sibaya?
Point of correction, Commissioner, I was not arranging for Mr. Sibaya to get Impalas.
Sorry, you were not arranging?
For Mr. Sibaya to get the Impalas.
Well, we've been through that previously. What happened is you got a voice call forwarded to you by Mr. Madlanga on the 21st of March, asking for details as to where the Impalas should be delivered. You then forwarded that voice note to General Sibaya, and you then received back saying it's from CAT. You then received a screenshot from Mr. Madlanga that reflected that the delivery would take place at General Sibiya's home address, and said, okay, everything's been arranged. He will catch the Impalas on Sunday and transported Monday to that location. Is it good? That was Rudy, farm manager, on the screenshot, and Mr. Madlanga said, no problem. So that exchange all took place on the 21st of March, 6 months before you say General Sibaya first met Mr. Madlanga. How do you explain that?
I'm explaining that by saying, in my knowledge, Mr. Madlanga sent me the voice note. I sent the same voice note to General Sibaya. General Sibaya sent me feedback. I sent it to Mr. Madlanga, but I did not take part on the set arrangement as you are saying that I've arranged.
What was the feedback that General Sibaya gave you?
He gave me, he sent me a location to give to Mr. Madlanga.
And you understood that to be the location at which the Impalas were to be delivered?
That's correct.
And that happened in March 2024. We know it. We've got the cell records and the WhatsApp records and the screenshot.
I will revert back to my files and just confirm.
And your message to General Sibaya on the 21st of March at 7:25:24 in the morning was, morning, it's from CAT. That was the message that went with the voice note that you sent 30 seconds previously. So you understood that on the 21st of March, General Sibaya would know who CAT was.
I'm not sure that I'm getting what you are saying. Can you repeat that?
Well, maybe we should go to the document so that you can see what they are. And if it's page 214 of the exhibit file, file 104. 214.
I found it.
So at 7:24:55, you forward the voice note, and you recall what that voice note says. It broadly says, what address must we deliver the Impalas?
That's correct.
Immediately after forwarding that voice note to General Sibaya, you say, morning, it's from Cat. You see that at
Yes,
chat
yes,
number
yes.
5.
Yes,
So you assumed that General Sibaya knew who Cat was.
that's correct.
So by the 21st of March 2024, General Sibaya knew who Cat was.
That's correct.
But you say the first time they met each other was 6 months later.
I've never said the first time they met each other. I said when I collected Cat downstairs, he was at General Sibaya to complain about his payment, not that they met for the first time.
So you accept that they must have met quite some time before that meeting in September,
That's correct.
and in particular that they would have met before you sent this voice note on the 21st of March.
Possibilities, yes.
Well, why would you refer to Mr. Madlanga as Cat if you didn't know that General Sibaya and Mr. Madlanga were well acquainted?
If I understand the question correct, you say, why do I refer Mr. Madlanga as Cat?
Yes, you're sending a note, you're sending a text to General Sibaya, and you want to explain that the voice note comes from Mr. Madlanga, and you don't say, good morning, this is a voice note from Mr. Madlanga. You say, morning, it's from Cat, which suggests that General Sibaya knows who Cat is, which suggests that General Sibaya and Mr. Madlanga are well acquainted.
To just rectify that issue of Cat and Mr. Madlanga is one and the same person. And myself and General Sibaya knows that who Cat is, what the name Cat belonged to.
And but does that not suggest that he and Mr. Madlanga had met at some stage prior to the 21st of March 2024?
That's correct, it's possible.
When you forwarded this voice note to General Sibaya, you'll see that he called you back at 8:39 in the morning.
That's correct.
In the course of that call, did he ever say to you, I don't want Impalas?
No?
Sorry, was that a no?
Yes.
And did he say to you, I certainly don't want anything from Cat because Cat is a supplier?
No?
Can I take you to General Sibaya's evidence? It's in that additional file 3 of 3.
303.
3 of 3. So the additional file, and it starts at page 1258. Let's go to 1261.
I'm on it.
So at 1261,
Just bear with us, Mr. Chaskowski. Yes.
and he is talking about the meeting where you brought General Sibaya, where you brought Mr. Madlanga up to General Sibaya's office. He's got that date as December 2023. And the chair asks him, are you saying that in December 24, you called witness, either 23 or December 2023, you called witness F to your office and asked him to fetch someone who was downstairs. Are you saying that did not happen? He says that did not happen. Lower down, he says he denies that he asked witness F, who's yourself, to be the go-between between you and Mr. Madlanga. He says, I never made such request. Over the page, Commissioner Khumalo, at about line 15, so when witness F says, on my arrival to General Sibiya's office, I delivered Mr. Madlanga, then General Sibaya said to me, I'm reading line 20 on 230, that never happened. General Sibaya says that never happened. He's not being truthful when he says the three of you were in the office together and you gave him this instruction. From where I'm sitting, I say that never happened, Chair. And then over the page on 1263, about line 16, witness F was never in my office. He was not working in my office. So can we take this evidence of General Sibaya one step at a time? Let's start at the end where we've just picked up. 1263, he says you were never in his office, you weren't working in his office. Is that true or false?
That's false.
How often have you been in his office?
Many times, more than I can count.
And when he says, let's go back up a page, 1262, Commissioner Khumalo puts to you, on my arrival to General Sibiya's office, I delivered Mr. Madlanga. Then General Sibaya said to me, and he says that never happened. So he says you never delivered Mr. Madlanga to his office. Is that true or false?
That's false.
Let's then move to the to what he says about the Impalas. And you've answered some of it already. If you go to page 1267, same file, lines 9 to 11.
And here,
He says he never allowed the Impalas to come to him because even if he said, and if you said, when you said from Mr. Madlanga to me, I realized, look, I don't want anything from anybody. Did General Sibaya ever say to you he doesn't want to receive anything from Mr. Madlanga?
he never said anything.
If we go down the page, or actually to 1271, 1271.
Yeah.
Line 12. If the message proceeds immediately, say from Cat, and it was about that because I don't have any devices over and above, I was not going to receive anything from a service provider. Did General Sibaya ever tell you that he didn't want to receive anything from a service provider?
No.
Then on 1272,
Yeah.
line 9, I think I indicated earlier that when they sent the pin drop to where the animals, the impalas, must be delivered, I did send it. So he admits that he sent the pin drop. Is that correct? Did he send a pin drop to you?
That's correct.
I also said, but when I got a break or during lunch or whatever the case may be, I called Nkosi and I said, please make sure it's not impalas because I don't need impalas. I cannot keep them and they die. And did he ever say that to you?
He said he called me.
He said he called you and he said, make sure that it's not impalas because I don't need impalas. I can't keep them and they die. Did he ever say that to you?
No.
So what he says in this passage is also false.